what were some of the things that you had to do, changes, new implementations? You mentioned diet, sleep, movements, routines. What were some of the things that you had to change and dial in when you started running?
Dude, I had to become a new person. Everything had to change. I had to, firstly examine my diet. I didn't understand how malnourished I was until I started training for running, and it shouldn't take a week to recover from a run, but it was taking me a week to recover from a run because I wasn't even looking at labels, man. I wasn't caring about ingredients. There was no quality of food in mind. I was just eating to eat. And so I am by no means a nutritionist or a pro when it comes to food, but I started making better choices, higher quality ingredients. I started being mindful of what my daily protein intake was. I started being mindful of what my caloric expenditure was. Um, you know, I was barely clearing some days 1,000 to 1,200 calories a day. I'm not a heavy eater. I can sometimes go until 5 or 6 o'clock at night and realize, oh my God, I haven't eaten anything today. I had a terrible structure when it came to food and nutrition. I was almost like fasting, intermittent fasting every single day for probably 14 to 15 hours a day. I would binge through the night and I wouldn't eat anything until dinner the next day. My whole rhythm was off. Like everything had to fundamentally change. So I started to force myself to have higher quality foods, eat first thing in the morning, give my body the fuel it needed. So I wasn't just constantly depleting myself with these runs, especially once things got into the 20 to 30 mile run for just training sessions. Man, I feel like I just became a human calculator. Every calorie was counted for. I had to be very mindful of what I was spending. I had to track the macronutrients and especially the micronutrients because you were burning through so many vitamins and micronutrients on a 20 to 30 mile run that if you didn't have your nutrition dialed in, you'd feel like death for days. And as an ultra runner, I needed to be able to run 30 miles one day and then run a half marathon or 20 miles the next day. That's the whole point is you break down your body and then you show up the next day on tired legs so you can get used to what is it like in those last 20 to 30 miles of a race. My nutrition was my Achilles heel. So firstly, I had to dial in better quality foods, better ingredients, no processed foods or very minimally. I just had to give myself the raw goods. Once I dialed that in, my entire perspective on movement had to change. Like I said, I got really good at pain management. I got really good out of I got really good at getting out of pain and staying pain free with a sedentary lifestyle. Now I'm doing 50, 60, 80 miles a week when my body had never been used to these kinds of things. I had to reimagine how I had to approach my own body. What were the strength exercises I needed to be strong enough to endure that kind of pounding on the pavement every single day? What were the rehab exercises that I needed to do religiously every night to give my body a fighting chance at waking up the next day to go do it all over again? I'd become basically my body was my own experiment. And I had to fundamentally change. No more was I trying to relax things. I had to put a lot of work into my body now. I had to strengthen it. And then sleep. Sleep was crucial. I love video games. That had to change because you can't be gaming till 2 o'clock in the morning and then wake up at 7 for a 20-mile run. You'll die or feel like it for the entire time. So I had to start getting at least a minimum of 7 hours of sleep. And those things were pretty crucial for me. But above all, man, aside from nutrition, aside from sleep and learning the exercises to take care of myself, it was this. Dude, I had to fortify such an incredibly strong mindset to endure that kind of long-term pain and pounding. Um, that was the thing that I had overlooked for the first couple months. I thought I don't know, I thought I had been through pain before, but to be able to sit with those kinds of demons on those long runs, you've got to really start to develop mindset, because that's what was going to make me or break me on these runs. It wasn't it wasn't my body. Once I learned how to fuel, once I learned how to stretch out, once I learned how to sleep, the biggest variable in me being successful was how I was parenting myself on these long runs.